lady in front of an audience, but she is also a businesswoman with a dream. Her husband is Edgar Rosenberg. He's not only the subject of some of her best jokes, but also a producer and savvy businessman. Joan and Edgar want to see their dream come to life right here in the Delaware Valley. Simply put, they want to build a full-scale filmmaking facility in Northampton Township, Bucks County. They claim it'll naturally be a booming business, what with cable and satellite TV needing more and more programming material. But they've run into some tough, unexpected obstacles to their dream. They're pretty angry about it, too. We'll learn why next on Prime Time. For many residents of Bucks County, a television program began a controversy that hits close to their own homes. Comedian Joan Rivers made a rare local live television appearance on Channel 6's AM Philadelphia. She announced that Northampton Township was going to be the site of a motion picture studio. As she explains to Dave Roberts, there was more, much more.
I understand that you are interested in moving back to the east.
Oh, I'm coming back. No question about it. My sister lives in... yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, no question about it. My sister lives on the main line. I still live and we bought land down in Bucks County, Northampton Township. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. You write to your board of supervisors, the Northampton Township board of supervisors. We want to build a movie studio, and we want to build low, gorgeous condominiums with a 9-hole golf course and tennis courts and all kinds of things. And a lot of the people on the board don't want it. So write and change the law, damn it. Because the governor wants it, and we want to bring sewage in, and we want to do all this project.
You want to bring sewage in?
Yeah, into North... It's a place called...
There's enough there now.
No, there's not. Pew, pew. No, Northampton.
What do they have? What, septic?
They have septic tanks where we are. And we want to bring sewage in, and we want to bring industry in, and it's a $100 million project, and it's going to be fabulous.
Well, you were up last night with Crayolas.
I drew my picture.
She has a picture of this is your proposed...
It's called Two Ponds. It's in Northampton Township. Right.
Looks like a medical series.
Isn't it beautiful? And see down there, there's the movie studio down there around the golf course.
Oh, I see Pond
Because
movie
everybody's doing movies in the East again, and we should get a little cut of the money out here. You know what I would do for them?
Joan Rivers Drive.
Well, I named myself.
Okay.
And there's the pool and the tennis courts. It's going to be just beautiful. And then you move up, and you have all the condominiums are in a great big park area. It's going to be gorgeous. And everybody wants it. The governor wants it, the movie industry wants it, the people around us want it, and 3 people on the board don't want it. So if you're from Northampton Township, write and tell them you want 2 ponds, because it's going to do a lot for the community. Absolutely.
Bring the movie. Why not?
But you have to write to the Northampton Township Board of Supervisors and tell them you want it, because there are 3 people that don't want it, but the governor does, so tough to them.
Okay. Prime Time decided to follow up on this story, and soon after, producer Bev Aaron met with Tom Pileggi, who's a builder and developer. Tom owns the 87 acres on which he hopes to build the Two Ponds project.
Well, I've been fighting zoning boards for the last 21 years, so that's nothing new to me. I believe you have to fight what you believe in. I believe this country was built on a free enterprise system. That's what makes it a great place to live. Everybody has a purpose in life. My purpose in life is to create housing for people, to create projects of this nature. That's why I was put in this world. I felt that way since I was a kid. Here's going to be your golf course to the left and to the right, with your main entrance walls coming in with a round canopy out of masonry with your big gates with your guard master here. Then your studio will start down in the shallow over here. Back to your left, you'll have your first 3 buildings, your condominiums, your swimming, boating, tennis, fishing, the whole works. On that ridge up there, you'll have 3 buildings again, condominium buildings, with 20 units in a building up there. Same thing to the left on the opposite side, and back to the center.
Well, we've heard from Joan and Tom. Now what about the local residents? Especially those whose properties border the site of the proposed Two Ponds project.
As a resident of Northampton Township, I'm definitely against condominiums behind my property.
Atlantic City residents early on were promised benefits from the casinos, and it hasn't come about. Joan Rivers is promising us something now, and I don't think it's going to come about if it goes through.
This is country, and we want to leave it as the country. We don't need Hollywood here, not in our beautiful Bucks County.
We already have a traffic problem at the main intersection in Richburg. Traffic can't get through there, backs up as much as a half a mile. This would only bring more congestion to the immediate area.
Before I would judge for or against this plan, I believe I would like to see it, think about it a little bit more, and learn about it, and then make a decision.
For them to bring in their so-called film and movie production, we don't need it. We're not starving, and we're not out looking for work. If they need work in Philadelphia, then they should take it to Philadelphia.
There may be a place for this type thing in the township, but I don't think this is a space right here.
Now, I spoke to the board 18 months ago, and a couple people on the board looked favorable, and a few of the board didn't look favorable on it. They feel they would like to see the property stay the way it is presently zoned.
Clearly, more than 1 or 2 members of the Township Board of Supervisors are opposed to the Two Ponds project. In fact, we surveyed all 5 supervisors on the Northampton Township Board, and all stood opposed, based on what they knew about the issue. Now, on the other hand, Tom Pileggi is supported by the Philadelphia Building and Construction Trades Council, a strong union with over 60,000 members. His strongest supporters, however, are Joan Rivers and her husband, Edgar Rosenberg. They are shocked by the negative reaction to the project, which for them is the culmination of a beautiful dream. Joan and Edgar will tell us why the film business is about to boom, and how they're involved in that boom, and why they want it to happen in Northampton Township, Bucks County. Next on Prime Time. Joan Rivers and her husband, Edgar Rosenberg, are both committed to filmmaking. It's work they love.
Oh, I just think everybody wants to do films. I think it comes from your childhood when that's the ultimate thing, that you go to the theater. That's show business for us. And it's just a lifelong dream. But I mean everybody in the business, you'll sit and you'll talk to whether it's David Brenner or it's Linda Ronstadt or Cher. We all want to get into film. And I think the whole world feels that way. I think every civilian, every office worker, every telephone operator says, yeah, films. That's the ultimate. Not television. Television, you're a little person. Film is big, it's wonderful, it's glamorous.
What was your big break that enabled you to get into films?
The Johnny Carson Show, television. Also, I wrote my own film, Rabbit Test, and I did it myself. The reason Rabbit Test worked, and it worked so well, is we had young actors, we had a young crew, we had young cameramen, young lighting people, young sound people. Everybody was very excited and enthused. To write something and see it done is magic.
How is it now, the two of you working together as a producer and director? Do you enjoy that?
Well, yes. Yes, it's wonderful to work with your husband because you really know he's on your side.
But it's hard when Joan is the director of a picture and I'm the producer. And Joan says, I need 150 people in this crowd seat. And I'm saying the budget only calls for 100.
What is it that you do as a producer?
It's like building a skyscraper, logistics. So access, availability, housing, being nearby good hotels, near a city, and good roads, getting in and out, getting equipment out. You have to move scenery in and out. You have to move performers in and out. And you want to be in an area that is fresh, that hasn't been used up, and so you're always looking for new sights, for a new look to the picture.
I sense this for you as a dream. This is very, very important.
Yes, it's coming east.
It's both east and west.
And that, to me, I can't stand sitting at Christmas and sweating. Can't take it.
We miss the season, which is very important too to filmmaking. When you have a winter scene, it is very difficult to be dusting artificial snow on palm trees and try to pretend it's a snow scene.
Suppose the zoning board listens to the petition and it says, no, you can't.
And they're wrong. The tax dollars we're bringing in, the amount of work we're creating for people in the area, they're crazy.
Bruce Townsend is the manager of Northampton Township, and we asked him to explain for Joan and Edgar and for the township residents just what are the facts and the rules in the zoning battle that's shaping up over the Two Ponds project.
In the early 1970s, mid-1970s, Northampton Township was in the, quote, path of development. We have a township that is in scenic Bucks County, has a rural atmosphere, and yet It is not very far from the employment opportunities of the Philadelphia, Lower Bucks County, and Montgomery County. The Board of Supervisors looked at the situation in the early 70s, saw the development occurring in the township, and says, hey, before this gets too out of hand, we ought to sit down and think about what's happening in this township and make sure that what we're going to be looking at 10 years from now is what we really want. The place we're talking about is known as Two Ponds. This area right here, it's a fairly large parcel, about 80-some acres. It has some frontage on Jacksonville Road, and then there's a little sliver that runs through that provides access onto Almshouse Road. Zoning is AR. AR is agricultural residential. Essentially that means single-family units are permitted, farms are permitted. The highest density would be 1 per acre.
Where could you build a movie studio in this township?
A movie studio would probably fall under the area of industrial, where you're manufacturing or you're providing offices for that research and manufacture. That's the pink area that you see here, I-1, this large area right here.
Say I want to build condos, where could I build them?
Townhouses, 6 to an acre, would be in the R3 area. That's this orange area right here.
Where could I put a golf course?
Golf courses are recreational facilities, and recreational facilities are permitted both in the AR district and in the R1 district. So Mr. Pileggi could take that 80-acre parcel and make a golf course out of it.
Is there any place at present where Mr. Pileggi could build on the same piece of land a golf course, a movie studio, and condominiums?
No. That's a combination of industrial, recreational, and residential, and at present our zoning doesn't permit that combination of uses.
Suppose they said to you, you can have the studio in this part of the township, you can have the condos in this part of the township, and you can have the golf courses over there, but you can't have all three together. Is that important to you to have?
Oh, yes. I think it's a whole, what we're also trying to bring in is a whole wonderful concept of living in a place that's beautiful, having all the facilities around you to enjoy yourself. We have a wonderful jogging path that goes around the whole thing, and being able to work there. It's a marvelous, wonderful, fabulous concept.
How long are you prepared to wait for it?
3 weeks, as long as it takes, because I know it's right, I know the people know it's right, and the jobs are there, and the money is there, and the tax dollars are there, and it's going to help. We're coming in adding to something. We're not coming taking something out, and that's a very important thing. We want to live there and be part of it. I want to run for mayor. No, just a joke.
I guess the fundamental issue here is the zoning change. If Mr. Pileggi wants to have the various uses that he desires or he's discussed on one property, he has to submit a zoning change, a request for a zoning change. And the board has to then look at that zoning change in relation to the purpose of zoning and decide whether it's in the best interest of the public.
You've chosen the route of going on television first, rather than going before a zoning board. Why is that?
Because I think the people should know what a few members of the board are saying no about. And I got very upset because let the people decide. That's all we're saying. Bring it to the people. If you've got over 10% unemployment and the governor is going around Pennsylvania saying, yeah, this is great, let's do it. And the unions are saying, let's do it. And the people are saying, let's do it. They should know, then the board, which is an elected board, should now know they're going against what the people want.
Yeah. Have you talked with any of the people? Have you got any feeling for...
Oh, everyone you speak to, they go, that's fabulous, what a good idea.
I'm sure that if somebody asked the board what the mail count has been, and these aren't letters that are being written in the back room, these are written by local people writing to the board, asking in favor of what we're trying to propose. And as Joan just said, these are elected people.
We haven't had very much reaction, to be quite honest, from the public one way or the other. Whatever reaction we've had, phone calls to the township, have been in a negative fashion from residents.
Has anybody from the state called you and said, we want to see this thing go through?
No one's called from county, state, federal, anybody.
If we don't go on television, A petition would normally go to the board, 2 or 3 people would decide and never see the light of day, or the people themselves would never get a chance to express their feeling.
I was surprised when I heard that she had come on the program and had mentioned the concepts or the ideas that Mr. Pileggi had brought forth, because it had been almost a year since we'd heard from him in that workshop session. There had been no indications that idea was to be pursued at all, and then all of a sudden this statements about that everyone was for it and that we were holding up, the board of supervisors was holding up the plan, which of course is not true because there's no plan that has been submitted.
We're not trying to bust an area. This is, the plans are there. It's not that we're trying to hide something and afterwards change them. Tom Pileggi has the blueprints, has the renderings, can show what we're going to do, so it'll look as beautiful as modern man can design anything to blend into the scenery.
I can actually picture in my mind right now in color how this is going to be when it's completed. You know, the golf course, the studio, the condos, all glass, redwood, big balconies overlooking all the nature. I can picture all this. If you can only take what I have inside and make these people understand, that's the tough thing to do. It's going to be an asset to the community. Mm-hmm. But to put it across to the board, they don't think the way I think. To put it across to the board is pretty tough. It's pretty tough.
What we are trying to do in this township is to keep the proper number of housing types, but in the areas where the township wants them, where they buffer the residents that already live here. That's what this whole thing's about, as far as I'm concerned.
We're not coming to an area that is totally rural and saying we want it rezoned.
They've done it already.
It's already been done. We're coming to an area that has already been rezoned.
There haven't been any zoning changes since 1977, with the one exception, and that was with the approval of a new category of zoning, which is called R5, and that dealt with the introduction of the possibility of allowing mobile homes to be also built in the township. The fact that we would have rezoned that particular area for R5 and the curative amendment procedure, I don't believe has any bearing on the Pileggi situation.
Excuse me, if you go one road over, they're all factories. We are not busting the neighborhood. Please, get in the car. Everyone that's listening, get in the car and drive around where Two Ponds
Across
is.
the street from Two Ponds, it's already rezoned to commercial.
There is an area across from Two Ponds that is zoned institutional public. It was zoned institutional public and established as such when the zoning map was approved in '77.
Not too far from the Two Ponds project, there's an industrial park where a movie house could be built. So we're not keeping this type of operation out.
When you first decided to do this project, what did you expect to be the reaction?
To be perfectly honest, to be welcomed with open arms. It is a demonstrable fact that when you bring a film to a town or to a city or to an area, there's a tremendous increase in revenues. There's a tremendous inflow of money, of funds, of employment. We expect it to be welcomed. It is, you open the Variety magazines, you open Hollywood Reporter, the trade magazines, almost every state in the Union, every town is advertising, willing to subsidize you to come in and make your films or your commercials or put your studio up in their state or in their township or in their city. Here is an area where they say, go away, we don't want you. Which,
and you want to know something?
We reach a point, we say, fine, you don't want the millions that we're going to bring in, you don't want the improvements, you don't want the job, you don't want the sewerage, the water supply, which is totally inadequate there. We'll say, fine, stay with your cesspools, stay with your lousy sewerage, stay with your lousy water supplies. We'll go someplace else where they will pay us to come in.
We walk into here and instead of people saying, isn't this great? They go, no. You go, well, excuse me, no. You're just in shock.
Any change of zoning has to come before the Board of Supervisors. They are the ones that are going to decide on it. I feel, and based on the discussion we had with Mr. Pileggi earlier this year, that the roads cannot handle this type of project. and it's just not the type of project that could go in this end of the township.
I'm angry. I'm angry because when there's unemployment like this, who the hell do you think you are not to give these people jobs?
It's totally
There's
undemocratic, too.
unemployment that people that want to raise their children and their families, and 5 people that say you can't bring $100 million into this area and bring us jobs and sewerage and work and improve our area. Who the hell are these 5 people to decide that?
They bring all this commotion in here.
Perhaps there's another piece of property.
This would all be union, most likely.
Well, I don't care for it. I don't want to see it happen.
So a small guy like me doesn't even have a chance.
One thing to myself, I feel bad.
Oh, she wants sewage for her property.
It's tranquil, it's peaceful, it's green, it's not blacktopped yet all over the place.
Anyway, you can. Thanks a lot. Have you been through this kind of struggle before?
Never.
Never. Never.